Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner, with another episode of VSW. Thank you, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner, alongside
with the Surf Wolf here
with another exciting episode of VSW. This is the Double or Nothing 2021
Elite
Part 2. I don't know if you caught our Part 1. We went over a bunch of the matches, a lot of the card, all the excitement. We're right up to that great women's match. We have a dentist champion and so much more. Now we are going to go over the rest of the card. Isn't that right to say, Wolf?
Absolutely, Versace. So the agenda for tonight is we get to talk about the big Fan Fest reveal, especially from my man Versace, with the figures and a new brand of figures too that's unmatched. And we got the last three matches, which is Sting and Darby Allin versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. And you get the three-way match for the AEW World title between Pac, Kenny Omega, and Orange Cassidy. And you got the main event Stadium Stampede match. What should we cover first, Versace?
Let's jump right into the action, and let's talk about that tag team match with Darby Allin and Sting. It's the icon. You know, first I have to say, Disabled, I didn't know how I felt about Sting coming into AEW. I'm always very wary when legends come into any promotion. Especially, it doesn't matter who it is.
If you watch Undertaker's matches in Saudi before the Boneyard Cinematic, man.
Oh, my. It hurts me to watch it. Not for Undertaker, you know, just the whole thing. I hate seeing my favorite wrestlers age, and it aches me even more to see them go past their prime for no reason. I was very nervous for Sting. But, you know, let me just, you know, I'll go back for a second. I'll backtrack for a second. It doesn't always work out terribly. As you can see, you know, WWE has had, you know, some success with bringing legends back. Edge is one of those things. Edge coming back was great, very successful, while Goldberg is not. AEW did a great job with Sting, I have to say. Absolutely. I was very nervous, but they brought him in. You know, they had that match that it was cinematic. They did a great job with it, just like The Undertaker did a great cinematic Boneyard match to end his career there. Sting's match was unbelievable, and, you know, this match was not cinematic that he did this night, but it was still a tag team match, and, you know, him and Darby are a nice team.
Absolutely they are, Versace. They even each other out. But the real scare in the match was when, in the beginning, when Scorpio Sky clotheslined Sting onto the steps, and then Sting did jump right back up, and the crowd went wild at Daly's place.
I'm going to tell you, it's going to take me a little while for me to get, you know, Scorpio Sky and SCU out of my head. Seeing him in a new tag team is kind of difficult for me.
Because the all-ego Ethan Page has not really done anything by himself except jump Darby Allin with Scorpio Sky right after Revolution, when Scorpio Sky won the number one contender face of the Revolution ladder match, faced Darby for the title in the face first face. Then when he shook Darby's hand, that's when Scorpio released a very un-SCU-like character.
You know, and that's what it's all about. I mean, when I first, you know, I was a big fan of SCU, and, you know,
Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels.
Christopher Daniels, an amazing, you know, wrestler, person. He actually did a cameo not too long ago for me in my Twitter. Somebody had him do one for me, and he gave me a nice little shout-out. It was very nice over the pandemic last year. But this was a great tag team matchup, though, you know. And I understand why they're putting Sting in the tag team. I don't think he can honestly do it a solo match. Most people his age can't. And, you know, he's able to do what he has to do, be effective.
And he looked fast for a 60-year-old with all the Irish whips he did in there.
He's very in shape. He's still very capable of wrestling, but he's got Darby to carry it for him, and it works out very well.
But we all thought that wouldn't be the case. In the middle of the match, the holy shit moment of the night was when Ethan Page threw Darby out into the ringside crowd of of Daly's place?
I was stunned, to say Wolf. I was stunned. I didn't know what the
Talk
hell
about
was
a
going
coffin
on.
drop.
It was amazing. You don't see that very often. That is one thing that I do love about AEW. You see a lot of moves and a lot of, I hate to use the word because it's such a non-kayfabe word, but you see a lot of spots in AEW that WWE just has no part of or banned. They ban pile drivers unless you're Undertaker or Kane. Well, they're retired now, so nobody can do, pile drivers anymore in
But
WWE.
you got the Young Bucks doing the Meltzer driver.
You got Meltzer drivers over here. You got people doing pile drivers off the top rope. You got all sorts of things going on. And it's done safely. It's done accordingly, and it makes wrestling. This was a great match, though. Like I said, I'm a tag team man. You know that as much as anyone. But
it was Sting that got the Scorpion Death Drop for the win.
it was, and I love seeing Sting get over that way. They're not making a mockery of him, as I was afraid, could happen. As somebody at his age coming back. They didn't do that with him. They've done a really respectable job with Sting, and, they've kept the icon alive and well in AEW.
Absolutely. Are you ready to move on?
I sure am.
All right, before we get into the FanFest announcement, we'll do that right before the main event. We got the three-way match for the AEW World Championship. You got the Bastard Pac versus whatever. Freshly squeezed OC Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega.
It's kind of funny. You got three individuals in this match that either all three of them are either you hate them or you love them.
But I will tend to disagree because I feel like the Pac was the tweener of this match.
He was, but he's still one of those wrestlers. Either you hate him or you love him. Same thing with Omega. Either you're a fan of him or you're not. And
I love him. I think
and the
he's
same
one of the
thing
greatest
with
of all time.
Orange Cassidy. Either you hate him or you love him.
OC. I love the guy. He's hilarious, Versace.
The thing is about OC is if you don't know him from the indie scene, you don't really know OC. You've gotten a glimpse of him. They're starting to unveil more and more of what he's really capable of.
People were really getting to know him until that pandemic hit.
They were.
It was him versus Pac who had one of the greatest matches outside that Heyman and Kenny versus Young Bucks in the pay-per-view Revolution before the world turned upside down.
Oh, for sure,
We all thought it'd be a joke match, but it was a really good...
and that's the thing about Orange Cassidy. He doesn't put out joke matches. He just doesn't. He does do comedy, let me straight, but when it comes down to a match and he wants to be serious, he most certainly is.
He started off that match serious, Versace.
He's one of the most athletic individuals that you can see in the ring today, doing the most amazing things while still keeping his hands in his pocket. But then again, on an equally said basis, you have one of the best in the world, Kenny Omega, the reigning, defending
AAA champion.
AAA, AEW,
Impact champion.
Multiple champions, got more gold than Mr. T coming in. And, he's just on a phenomenal run right now with Don Callis by his side. Him stepping away as Impact owner. And now just solely dealing with Kenny Omega, it seems. All eyes on Kenny. And then you got Pac. Pac is Pac.
Every time he forms a team with the Lucha Brothers, one of them gets hurt at the Death Triangle stable. And you got the world turned upside down, which Pac had a tough time getting back to America from England.
I still can't keep not calling him Neville, but that's just me. But he's come a long way. He's a good contender. I just don't know if they've known what to do with him. In my opinion, I don't think he should be in the world title scene. He should be in the TNT title scene.
I feel like OC can go either way. But the problem is, if OC was the champ, you would get a huge reaction.
OC is way over. So,
yeah, exactly.
OC as champ would make sense in a lot of ways. But, it was Kenny Omega that did, walk out with the belt. He is still the champion. I think it was a close match at times. OC almost had it. I thought he was going to walk out with it.
Especially when he did 2 Superman punches. But you got Pac with the 450 splashes, too.
You did. You had a whole bunch of excitement going on in a very short period of time that you could think this match could go any which way. And, it went the way of
Once
Kenny
the
Omega.
man got it was really stolen from Orange Cassidy by the man, the myth, the crazy con man, Don Callis.
If it wasn't for Don Callis being ringside, and I can talk about this for days, the importance of having a manager, having somebody by your side, whether it's in the indie scene like Armani Kaios with, Paris Van Dale and how they work their magic, or it's in this case with Don Callis. It doesn't matter. You need that person in the corner to help you win when your cards are down, when there's, it doesn't matter. If you want to be the champion, if you want to walk out the champion, you need to do whatever it takes to become the champion, and that might mean...
Smart, Mark.
Hey, you got to do whatever you have to do.
Absolutely, Versace, but obviously Orange Cassidy had that momentum right when he was doing his finisher on Then Don Callis distracted him. Kenny Omega did hit a move on OC. Then he hit Pac. Not once, not 2, not even 3, but all 4 of his titles right to the skull of Pac's head, allowing him to claim the victory.
My God, what a match. It really was.
And the people at Daly's Place were not happy at all with a "fuck you, Don" chant.
There was that chant. People are not happy with Don Callis. Kenny is really taking a lot of heat, which is good for Kenny. That's where he wants to be right now. Orange is way the fuck over. He could have walked out as champion and everybody would have been screaming.
He didn't need any of his best friends with him.
Nope. And then, and that would have made the difference in his case. If he had come down with the best friends, they would have stopped Don Callis and, it would have been an orange night. Instead, we still got Kenny Omega for champion. Let me ask you this, Disable. What do you think's next for Kenny? Who do you think's next in line for Kenny?
Well, technically, in about 3 weeks, when AEW switches from Friday to that one Saturday before they go back to Wednesdays in the beginning of July, they got Jungle Boy who won that Battle Royal. You're going to have Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega on that show.
Well, you got that, but I'm talking as far as that's on a regular Dynamite. I'm talking what do you think as far as the next pay-per-view match?
That's a real
Which will be at what? All out. Let's just say he prevails and beats Jungle Boy.
This is most likely going to happen. Here's the thing, Versace. You had the Bucks as faces last pay-per-view not too long ago facing a team of MJF and Jericho in the opening match of Revolution, and a lot has changed by then. You don't have botched fireworks anymore, But the thing is, the landscape of AEW has changed. The Elite have reformed as a Bullet Club Elite hybrid stable with Gallows and Anderson from Impact. And I honestly think with Dark Order's momentum, you're going to have Hangman versus Kenny. I've said that for a long time. I think they face each other in full gear in the tournament, but that was before Kenny was unleashed as a heel.
And, now Hangman is way
And we all
over.
thought Hangman was the one that was going to turn heel on all.
And now Hangman is way over still. Not as over as he was before the pandemic hit. He was
drinking people's beers.
He was at the top of his prime, I think, then, as being
He
over.
wasn't when AEW first started.
No, when AEW first started, I'm not going to lie, when he won the tournament and he was facing Jericho, I was like, what the fuck is this? I was not happy. He gave a killer match against Jericho. I'm glad Jericho won. He wasn't ready to be there yet. Yeah, he was in Ring of Honor, and yeah, he was in Impact, or wherever else he was around. I'm not even sure so much. But he wasn't ready to be world champion.
I'm okay with that. He's way over, but he has potential to be Triple Crown champion in AEW.
Today, he has the ability to be the world champion. Today, he could hold the title with prestige, and people will be like, damn, that's a good champion.
Love Jungle Boy. He's an amazing fuck. The Jurassic Express need a title. They need the tag titles. I want them to beat the Young Bucks before I love Jungle Boy.
Marco Stunt needs a figure before they need the title.
Good one, Versace.
Which will get us into the Fan Fest. What news we got to hear, speaking of figures?
Absolutely. There's not only 2 more sets of Unrivaled Versace, but a brand new figure line from Jazzwares called Unmatched. And you've got the long-awaited AEW wrestler to finally get not 1 but 2, and the chase figure, DMD, the new AEW's Women's Champion, the Dr. Britt Baker.
What a day. You know, a lot of people, including myself, have been waiting for that figure. Unmatched, being announced, and with more, detail. First of all, there is no difference between the quality in Unmatched and Unrivaled. So this is not a WWE elite and basic situation where you got, one superior and less superior figure. They're both on the same point of articulation and quality for the same price. You're just going to have, 2 different sets coming out. That's more pegs on the shelves being
but
for AEW.
At least 2 out of the 3 first Unmatched, I think you got to pre-order all of them. Because not only is the Unmatched first, you got not only Britt Baker, you got Miro and LGN. Oh yeah, the first step. You may not know this, folks, but before Hasbro, there was LGN back in the old days.
There definitely was LGN. They were the first ones to do the wrestling figures for WWF at the time, now WWE. And they are doing 1 figure, it looks like, per series. So the big rubber figures per series of Unmatched. So in the first series, you are getting none other than the man of many figures, Cody Rhodes.
You also got Kenny Omega and Darby in the first Unmatched line.
You do. And, you're going to see a whole bunch of these,
and
figures
you got
coming out.
Series 2 of Unmatched. You got Ty Conti. I think, that's Unrivaled. But
Unrivaled.
Who else do you have in that second line? I know the third line is all Dark Order.
The third line is going to be
late
all
great
dedicated.
Brody Lee.
It's going to be all Dark Order, including the late great Brody Lee, the leader of it, and the Meat Man, John Silver.
The goddamn Meat Man.
You're going to have tons of figures, including
Anna Jay. You got the original OG Dark Order leaders and Stu Grayson and the Magnificent Evil Uno.
Yep, and then they're also making another to scale ring. If you didn't collect the first one like myself, I did get it. You'll have a chance to get another one. This one will have the double or nothing apron and will come with referee Aubrey.
And the second line, you got Ty Conti in the second Unmatched line, which will be really good.
Yep, you're going to see a lot more faces, a lot more scans, a lot more people. If you're a figure collector, AEW is the way to go right now. I mean,
what shocks me the most out of the releases, you don't have a Penelope Ford or Kip Sabian figure announced.
Nope, no Penelope Ford. I was talking to my friend Basham about this the other day. He's a big Penelope Ford fan, and he was like, what the hell? No Penelope Ford yet.
And they both had their wedding on live TV and still no figure.
It will be coming soon, I promise you that. I think a lot of figures were in line, and then they picked up some people, so they made adjustments. We've seen for instance, we've seen a Matt Hardy figure before. We've seen, a Britt Baker figure. We've yet to see a Private Party.
Joey Janela,
Sonny Kiss. One. Sonny Kiss. We are getting a Nyla Rose, which looks fantastic.
On Unmatched, and you got the Murder Hawk monster, Lance Archer.
That looks amazing too.
And you got the next Series 8 of Unrivaled. You got not only another OC, but you got the Alien Chris, the whole Best Friends game.
You got Chris Statlander. You got the Best Friends. And, you're going to also see another set of Young Bucks coming around. And there'll be some duplicate figures in there as well.
All the Elite guys have a lot of duplicates. No one better bitch about Cody anymore.
And Unmatched, too, we're going to have a bunch of different MJFs. They're going to be in there.
Santana and
Ortiz. A bunch of different gear. So, just expect that. It's part of the game. But, it's a good game. And hopefully we can find these in store. We've been very lucky so far. As of Series 3.
We're the only one in Massachusetts, I feel like gets a chance to get
As of Series 3, we've been pretty lucky. We pretty much found all of Series 3 except OC in the store. And Series 4, we found everybody multiple times. Hopefully we get the same for Series 5 when they drop, because, my God, I mean, yes, I did my ringside order. It still hasn't arrived, but...
I want that first ever AEW tag team titles with Sky and Kazarian.
You know, I won't lie. I actually went out, ordered those ones, and those came faster than the ones that I pre-ordered from back in the day, only because when I ordered those ones, it had them all the figures with it.
It makes you feel better. I got behind on the TNT Cody figure and a little bit of the Bubbly Jericho figure.
Hey, I get behind on them, but these ones, I don't know. I'm waiting for my Series 5. I have the tag team title champions, though, extra to do an unboxing. I'm waiting and hoping I can find the others to do unboxings. I might even go back and buy another Series 2 to do unboxings. I see they're reselling that.
I still need to get the Lucha Bros.
I wouldn't mind getting a Lucha Bros. I do have another MJF, but I wouldn't mind having, another, an actual open Moxley. I have no open Moxleys. But yeah, that's another episode for another day to podcast on Just Figures. I could sit here and talk days about it. Days.
We all love our figures, Versace.
We sure do.
And now, finally, the main event of the evening.
The main event of the evening, AEW just keeps getting better and better and better with their main events.
And you
I
got
don't know how they do it.
Magic back on full capacity.
If you look at this one compared to their last Stadium Stampede, it was much different, but much the same. It was great.
They were both different quality because you could hear the fans in the back, and you even had it ending with the stands. So it is the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. If the Inner Circle were to lose, they must disband by order of the world's nicest man, Mr. Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He's so sweet. But anyways, the Inner Circle consists of Pride and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz, Big Hoss himself, Jake Hager, and the sexy Spanish god, Sammy Guevara. And you got La Champion, formerly known as Y2J, Chris Jericho, Judas in my mind, versus the Pinnacle. You got FTR, Cash and Dax, managed by Tully Blanchard. You got the chairman, Sean Spears. You got the watchdog and bodyguard of the world's nicest person, Wardlow. And you got the man, the myth, the legend himself, guy who never complains about anything. He's always honest, Mr. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. But boy, I got some Shawn Michaels WrestleMania entrance vibes with the beginning of this.
I certainly did. The star power, you were just naming off names. It's insane. Insane. The amount of star power that this match possessed. You have, former champion, late champion himself, Chris Jericho. The head of the Inner Circle going against the head of the newly formed Pinnacle, MJF, one of the best wrestlers in this era on the mic and in the ring.
Natural born heel, very charismatic.
He was a great Limitless champion. Did phenomenal work out there in Maine. Brought that same attitude and work-like style ethic right to AEW and just crushed it.
Just like he crushes the feelings of a bunch of fans.
He does. He really hates them. We discussed that with Bryce Donovan, how he feels about the fans, and he just doesn't like them. And that's fine. You don't have to like the fans. You're in it for the money. That's fine. That's your job. Go out there, wrestle, make your money, go home. Buy yourself a new scarf. I understand. I'm the Versace Stone. I'd be the same way, but I actually enjoy the fans. I like the people. They don't bother me too much. Some do, but not most of them. But I'll tell you though, this match, I was looking forward to it. I didn't know which way it was gonna go. It makes me nervous all the time when something's gonna break up. That means somebody might be leaving. That means somebody might be retiring.
I won't say it till the end, but I did kind of predict it right.
Kind of did, kind of not. Everybody we all had our reasons for thinking so, but it was good. It was a good match, and just the opening scene, with them coming out, like you said, with the fire and the flames and the song and the rope and everything, scalping the wall down. It was just, it really had a vibe to it, and like you said, they fought. You had Sammy in his moment. He got back his revenge from that golf cart. He got to ride the cart this year.
Oh, he did, didn't he? But Mr. MJF was hiding in that limo he came in when all the rest of the Pinnacle and Inner Circle members were starting fist fights with each other. But the match actually starts not actually on the field when you get to the ring, on the field.
Yep.
And it was Sean Spears and Sammy Guevara. I don't want to give it away, but they start the match, and I don't want to give it away. But
well, you can start to give things away because we're telling them what happened. Disabled Wolf. This is a recap.
Oh, yeah, but I believe in the slow burning magic, Versace. And here's the thing, so everyone had their own different story in there. You had Wardlow and Jake Hager, you got Jericho and MJF, you had Pride and Powerful and FTR, and you got Sammy and the Chairman. They all fought in different, it felt very like an action movie. But the frickin' Jericho and MJF was the funniest of them all. They had Urban Meyer, former Ohio State head coach, newly hired Jaguars head coach, giving Jericho a laptop to whack MJF in the head.
Oh, that was
fought in
great.
The front office of the Jaguars.
I really liked how they brought it and used the whole stadium as
not just the field.
Not just the field, the whole thing, the offices, everything. They used the whole thing as the arena to wrestle in. It was great. It made it feel huge. You know, it kind of reminded me of that Money in the Bank where they all went through Titan Towers, but it was nice to see, and it was nice to see the individual stories be played out, you know, as they fought each other throughout this place. It was great.
Absolutely.
You know, kudos to the filmography and the people that filmed it and how they filmed it. It was very sleek and it was very clean. I really, I became, over the pandemic, a real fan of cinematic wrestling. I wasn't, maybe that much so long ago. I did like Lucha Underground, but, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Fast forward, I think, if done right, it's amazing. You can get Second Life out of superstars that could never put on a match. You can tell a great story that you normally couldn't do. And you can also, do matches like this, which, take place in a much grander location than just, a ring.
Absolutely, Versace. But one of the other matches, you had Jake Hager and Wardlow in the match, taking place in the meat butcher and the freezer section.
That was pretty funny, actually, I have to say.
They were both, you saw the heads of all the meats and pigs, they were fucking fighting through that. And then Wardlow almost locked Jake Hager in the freezer.
Oh, yeah, he did. And it got almost like a horror movie scene. But, you know what, at the end of the day, it was, the Inner Circle showing how good they are and how well they can prevail.
Absolutely. And another part of there, we talked about Jericho and MJF in the offices, Wardlow and Hager in the freezer section.
Let's talk about the real star.
All right, but before that, we got FTR and Pride and Powerful facing each other in the nightclub of this Jacksonville Stadium with Conan as the...
That was funny. DJ. That was funny. I laughed for that when Conan came out as
They
DJ.
were smashing It was different than last year when Heyman invited one guy over for Jake Hager over for a drink and hit him with all the glasses.
It was. And then Conan as the DJ was hilarious. A little old school WCW action. Yeah, it was great. I like that part a lot. This is what makes, it kind of fun. It doesn't always have to be serious in wrestling. As much as we want that serious boxing or UFC style vibe, we need this kind of fun, excitement, enjoyment inside of wrestling, or it will get stale. And it's what makes wrestling. We need the showmanship. We need this show.
Let's see if they do another Stadium Stampede. Maybe they rename it if they're in Vegas next year.
Maybe they do. I don't know what they're going to do, but for the last 2 times, they've had 2 Stadium Stampedes. And, it's caught on pretty well. I think it needs to be an annual event, regardless of where it is. If they do it in Las Vegas, the only unfortunate thing is they don't have a stadium down there.
Well, yeah, they have the brand new Raiders stadium which is probably going to be the most probable location of SummerSlam, a giant stadium.
So then maybe Double or Nothing.
But I don't know if it's next to MGM Grand or not. That's a thing, Versace.
Maybe it doesn't have to. If you remember back in the day at WrestleMania 2, it took place across 3 different locations in the same night. Maybe AEW does something similar to that where they have the double main event and one location will have it and the second location will have the Stadium Stampede and some other matches. Who knows? But I mean, we will have to wait a year and find out what they decide to do with that. Me, I'm a fan of it. It's been 2 years in a row. They've both been classics. Now, let's get to talking to the real star of the show, and that is Sammy
Guevara. Well, it took place in where the chair and prop section of the football stadium and Daly's Place was, in a room full of chairs where we thought he wouldn't even be allowed to thrive because Sean Spears handcuffed him there where all the pallets are and everything else.
It was pretty wild, to say both. And I've become a big fan of Sammy. Always was a fan of Sammy. He said some stupid shit in the past outside of wrestling that got himself into some deep water. But, overall, he's been a great entertainer and wrestler. Whether he's a bad guy, good guy, I think now the fans are really behind him. And, he could be the next biggest thing in wrestling.
He could easily dethrone Mero for that TNT championship.
It could happen.
I really hope to see that. He'd be a great guy to move up. And so what happened, how it led, they actually finished the match in the ring with what started the match with Sean Spears and Sammy Guevara. And it all happened when Jericho beat up MJF in the stands. Then they switched over to Sammy and Sean Spears in that ring. And I was nervous, Versace. I thought that all the Pinnacle was going to beat Sammy at the ring, but I was wrong.
It wasn't like that at all.
Basically turned into a 1-on-1 match to end the night.
It did. And, it was Sammy that took the victory to keep the Inner Circle alive and well.
With his Spanish God splash on
Now,
Sean
I have
Spears.
to say, I didn't think they were going to do it. I didn't think the Inner Circle was going to take the victory. I don't know how they're going to do it. With Fozzy being out on tour, I really honestly thought they would have lost and been disbanded.
But they just reformed as a face. It'd be wrong to disband them. They're merch sellers, Versace. I remember I saw the Future when the Stadium Stampede. It was like similar to the Patriots 19-0 shirts that were shipped in Africa. Pro Wrestling Tees did Stadium Stampede's champions last year for Inner Circle, red, white, and blue. I'm so glad I got that for half off. You'll never see a AEW shirt half off ever again.
That's because they made them too early. They made them and they thought they were going to win the match. But yeah, that will be the only time you'll see an AEW shirt at half off. And my God, damn, I wish I had gone on that one. I collect t-shirts. I missed out on that one. I did indeed.
Here's the thing. All this Inner Circle members came to the ring celebrating. The pyros went off. And the
bubbly was flowing. It was a night for the Angels to trumpet because, the Inner Circle will prevail. There will still be singing along to that
How
Judas
can they
song.
get better? How will they have a third match? Because you got Blood and Guts the first, Stadium. How can they top that? But we can't underestimate Tony Khan.
Nope, never underestimate Tony Khan or what,
Hey, we will
the
get
Elite have in their mind. We'll get something similar. We will get something different. We will get all sorts of things. They are very creative. They're very smart.
Speaking of, you know what they should do if they do face each other and all over? No, it's mentioned plenty of time. Have MJF, the first one to come out of all 10 of them, and have him come out to Cult of Personality in Chicago. He'd be perfect for that. Imagine a nuclear heat in that building.
Wow, my God, wouldn't that
be worse
something?
Than Shawn Michaels coming to Montreal and 10 years later saying that Bret Hart was going to come out and they played his music and he said, "I got you, Montreal."
I have to say, it would be something else. And I don't know where All Out is going to take us.
It is going to be in Chicago.
I know that, but I don't know what the match scene's going to look like. It could go anywhere from now until then. AEW keeps us guessing right to the very fucking end. You know, you had no leaks again in this, match.
Which I love about them. You don't know who... You didn't see that inner curtain.
Nobody knew Leo Rush was going to show up as the Joker.
And no one knew that MJF would be officially forming the Pinnacle or that Sammy would come back to Inner Circle. They did it both in one night.
They did all that switch swap in one night and nobody knew a damn thing, and it was beautiful. That is how wrestling
gives you hope
be.
that they hide CM Punk potentially. He's better hide in his own hometown. Because you'll never hear the end of those rumors.
We get that every time we go to a wrestling event in Chicago. We got to listen to that CM Punk is going to make a return. Look, if he was going to make a return, it would have been 5 or 10 years ago. It's not going to be now.
Would have been the first All In before All Out.
Yeah, why do it now? And if he was, I mean, honestly, what's he going to bring to the table? Is he even in shape? Could he even wrestle? Would he even fit? There's so many variables that to be talked about when you talk about, the return of CM Punk in today's wrestling world. But yeah.
But what would you give a grade of it out of F through A+? I'd give it an A.
I always give Dawn A+, and I am going with that again. I just love Double or Nothing. I think it's always the most exciting show that they put out every single year. The only thing that I wasn't too happy about this year was 2 things, and that was one, it wasn't actually in Vegas, although they did do a great job with the
new
set.
setup. Yeah.
They changed it, they made it look great, but I didn't have that Las Vegas feel. B, I hated that it was on Sunday night. I wish it was Saturday night. It makes it more like a big night boxing event, like back when I was a kid watching Mike Tyson. I love it. You didn't have that. You had this Sunday night kind of felt like a WWE Backlash type of event. I don't like that. That's not good. That's
AEW is designed to be on Saturdays, just like UFC.
Exactly. It should be side by side.
But yet they want WrestleMania on SummerSlam on Saturday. WWE Big 4 should always be on Sunday. AEW's 4 should always be on Saturday.
That's just how it should be. And there shouldn't even be any other shows besides those. It should be 8 shows altogether. You don't need all these monthly shows, just the whole stories. When you have 3-hour weeklies plus another 2-hour weekly, another 4-hour weekly, you got 20-hour weeklies. You don't need pay-per-views every month. You really just don't. But that's my opinion. You know how I feel about that, Disabled Wolf.
Absolutely, Versace. So, anything you have to say before we sign off?
I think that's going to be it. We got a lot of things coming up on the VSW in general. A lot of exciting news, rather, the return of Limitless Wrestling Live.
Woo-hoo. Which front row sold out, which we got in under 1 minute, Versace.
We will be there. I can't wait to see the fans, as you know.
Get to see Randy Carver, John Alba live.
As you know, we've been sponsoring them, for a couple of their last pay-per-views. We will continue to do that now. They mentioned one of our matches tonight, the main event versus the competition, and it's going to be a tag team match for the ages. Also, you have NCW making their return in August.
Big City Rumble.
That's going to be freaking amazing. Can't wait for that.
And at some point, you got the location of Beyond's Americana with Denver, Colorado.
That should be announced very soon, and we will be looking forward to that one as well.
They had a great night last night in Project Dolphin. Too bad we weren't there for that, but...
Oh, there's always next time, Disabled. There's always next time. We will catch another Beyond show. Don't you worry.
And don't forget to tune in if you're in the Boston area and you love sports. I'm your guy covering the Boston Bruins playoffs. They won a huge overtime Game 3 win against the New York Islanders. You got the Boston-New York Raiders rivalry showdown with the Red Sox-Yankees. I will recap that whole series next week. And unfortunately, the Celtics had big splash. Danny Ainge is stepping down. You'll hear from me, and will the Patriots get Julio Jones? Tune in and keep your eyes out for the Beantown Sports Wolfcast if you're in the Boston area and listening to this.
A lot of sports coming your way, and you know what? You don't have to be in the Boston area to be a Boston sports fan. I know fans from all over the world that like Boston. So you know what? If you're a fan of Boston sports, just tune in to Disabled. He's got the best Wolfcast in town. I tell you that. And you will never see any more dedication than that to Boston sports. And like I said, we got a lot of wrestling coming here way. We'll be doing previews, reviews, recaps, whatever you want. We got interviews as well. Things are lining up. A lot of action coming your way. So just stay tuned with us here at the VSW. So I thank you, everybody, and have a great night.
Thank you, everybody.
Versace Stoner out.
Disabled felt.